So let's get into the dash mechanics. So go to settings, project settings, and we're doing this because I want to create an input. And in action mappings, as you see, we have jump primary action, which is our left mouse button for shooting. I want to create a dash one. So if I say dash, and here we can choose which button we need. I'm going to use left shift for my dash. And now if we go here in the first person character blueprint, let's find a space to do this. This is our jump. Let's do the dash here. So now if I right click and just type dash, you have this event that we just created with the settings, right? This is why we did this. Simply because we needed a name which is dash. You can just as easily use left shift and it does absolutely the same. I just want to have named functions, so I created one in the input mappings. So from here we can already used launch character, and we launch the character in the z-axis when we press space. So dash is literally the same, but we launch our character in certain direction. And yeah, for example, if I do I don't know 2000 and just override this. This means that you're not going to add, you're going to override the direction. So if I do this, now every time I press shift, I go to X. It doesn't matter which button you have pressed, it doesn't matter where you're facing, you're going to the X direction, X-axis, because I launched the character into the X-axis. However, we need to make it so the character can dash in any direction, or rather the direction that we are looking at, and so on, right? We can do that. First we need a variable. So if we create a variable here, yeah, and name it dash direction, we need to change this variable to vector. This will be our direction, and here we need to set this direction, and let's connect it, set. Now which direction we are going to set it to? It's very simple way to do this. We can just get our last direction that we faced, or rather not faced but clicked. So if we clicked W, it will get our W where that direction was facing. So if you click W for forward, it will take that direction, and so on. It's a pretty simple way to do it. So if you get character movement and get last input vector, so if you press any button, it will register in which direction your character moved, and it will get that direction, and if it will set it here. So we actually need to set to default value and then recombine struct pin, and we need to connect this here. And now we have the direction, but that won't do anything. If I play the game and I press shift, my character moves like a millimeter, and this is because the direction is very small. Vector is like 1, 0, 1 or something like that for directions, and it uses from 0 to 1 or minus, and we don't want that. We actually need to multiply it. So multiply this vector and do it like this, and we need a speed. This will be our speed, so dash speed. And if we get this variable, actually this variable needs to be float, so we are going to multiply a vector by a float. So what will this dash speed do? How the multiply a vector with a float, how does that work? So if our dash speed is 2, it will multiply all the x, y, and z with 2. So if it's 0, 0, 0, it will remain 0, 0, 0. But if it's, for example, 1, 0, 1 for direction, as I said, these are the kind of directions that we have. Sorry. If we multiply it by 2, it will become 2, 0, 2. It's just that simple. So click it here. In Unreal 5 it has automatic multiplication. You don't need to get a node, which a specific node for vector multiply with float. It's very nice. This just connect it here and you're done. And now you have the speed because we multiplied for let's see, what I'm using 3000. So let's try 3000. Let's see how that works. And now you move. I feel like I'm jumping a bit too high. Maybe that's my imagination. Maybe, but yeah. As you see, we actually yeah, we came here at the end. So now we have dash, but as you see, I actually can spam the dash, and that's not something we want. How do we fix that? Again, we can use our favorite node, do once. So if we do once, now apply, and if we play, I can do it only once. If I cannot dash anymore because we need to reset it. So we can do once, and then here you can use delay, and now you can delay it by I don't know, 3 or 2 seconds, it doesn't matter. So again, oops, I missed. That was nice. So yeah, I cannot demonstrate it because I keep missing. So and yeah, nothing happens because I need to connect this to the reset. And now compile, play again, and after 2 seconds, I don't know if you saw, but I dodged even though I was falling. If I do this, and now oh my god. Yeah, you can double jump after 2 seconds. I don't know why my second jump is a bit lower, but anyway, with this you can double jump. However, right now what we are doing, let me organize this a bit like this. Now we actually need to do a bit more, so the dash works a bit more properly. So let's do that next. So if now I press play and just press shift, nothing happens. You can leave it like that if you want, but you can make the functionality of dodging forward if you are not pressing anything. And to do this one, it's a bit tricky. Not exactly, it's not tricky, but let's get into doing that. We need a branch first, and we need to check, for example, if you are moving or not. And this one here, this one will be how do I do it? Let's move this one here, get the direction, push it here, launch, and all I'm doing right now is just for organizational purposes. It's not really doesn't matter if you do it or not, but okay. So now this will be our direction if we are moving, last input vector. However, if we don't move, all we need to do is get actor forward vector. So we're going to dash forward if we haven't moved, and we need to check if we have moved or we have not moved. We can do that. Sorry. If you go to character movement and get velocity, so you need your velocity. Oops, not this one. Sorry. Get velocity is this one here, and we need to check only the x and y axis. So split struct and make vector, just check these two here, the velocity in x and y. We don't need the z1, and check the vector length. So check it, because if the vector is 0, we are not going to be moving, and if it's 1, we're moving in some direction, right? I mean, if it's not 1, if it's higher than 0, we are moving. So basically this is what we need to check, and we need to check if it's not equal to 0. So if we are not, if we are moving, if the vector length is not equal to 0, which will mean we're moving, and if we're moving, we're getting our input vector, and if we're not moving, we're going with the actor forward vector, and then we're assigning this to velocity. And now if you play the game, I don't need to move, I dash. So here also you can make it so it's not 2 seconds, but you can make it in a way that the moment you get like the moment you stop dashing, you can dash again. So you can kind of spam it if you want, and yeah, you can do that by let me do that really fast. So you have this dash speed, right? Also we need to actually create a category, and this category will be called dash, and we will put every single variable with the dash, so far 2. So if we get the dash speed, and how do we get the time? Well, it's basic math. You divide distance by speed and you get the time. We have the speed, we have it from here, and we can decide ourselves how much the distance will be. So we can actually create a variable, and this will be called distance, and let's put it to dash. And if we divide this distance that we're going to decide how big is this one, but divide the speed, and you're going to get the time. And this distance, you can do it like any distance, but I did 500. And now I can jump and I can dash, and you can spam it, you can spam dash. if you don't want to spam it, you can increase the distance to 5000, for example, and now it's not happening. You cannot spam it. You spam it every 5000 meters, I think, or centimeters, not sure. So make it 500. You can play again, you can play around with this one. And the other thing I want to do with the dash is currently when I'm dashing, the friction on the ground is a bit too much. So we can change the friction pretty easily here, and I'm going to do it before we set the launch character. If you go to character movement, get ground friction, we need to set it, not get it. So if you hold Control and press and hold this pin here, you can move it here. And now I want to set it to 0. So the moment we are dashing, the ground friction will be 0. And basically, if you set it to 0, you are not going to have any direction. I mean, look what's going to happen. Not direction. You're not going to have any friction. So I'm sliding, and the moment I actually finish the jump, I'm going to have the same friction as usual, which is 8. This is the usual friction. You can actually increase this, but I don't recommend it. So now you have 8, and you can even put another delay before before you can dash again, so you won't be able to spam it. So after you finish with your dash, you're going to have 0.5 seconds of delay. Again, it's a matter of preference, so you can do it or not, but yeah, this is our dash mechanic. And finally, make sure everything is in dash, and just select everything, press C to comment, and call it dash. So we are done with our dash. We have now dash mechanic. So let's move to the next one.